I'm just about to interview Debi Brett from Debi Brett Photography. She's an incredible woman. She has created a great space for her, and she does a lot of businesses and their branding photography. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with her. She's a dynamic young lady that has this young family, a fabulous husband, and she's really created a great business for herself. And I've asked her along to have a chat today because she has an incredible business, and I wanted to ask some of the questions that people starting out or are in the middle of their business, sort of how other people do it. So that's really sort of what's happening with this chat today. So welcome, Deb.
Thank you for
to
having
the
me.
chat room.
I love it.
It's so funny. Okay, so you've created a fabulous space.
Thank you.
You're a photographer. You do branding, business branding photography.
Brand storytelling, yes.
There you go. And I've done that with you, and the whole process was incredible. You're so professional. You come up with just the best ideas on how to capture the essence of my business. And once like I said, I get past looking at myself in the photos,
Yes.
you look at what you've captured in that one shot, and it's great. How do you do that?
Thank you. Well, I think I've got a genuine interest in people. I love people. I love getting to know them. I love the psychology of people, and I think that's my reason for taking photos. I shoot from the heart. I'm very heart on my sleeve when it comes to emotions, and I'm not scared of putting my emotions out there, and I think that resonates with people, makes them feel comfortable, and that then just translates into very emotive photographs, which when you're doing from a personal point of view, brand storytelling, that's what connects from a marketing point of view, and from a family perspective, that's the I want someone to look at their photos and have an emotional reaction rather than, oh, doesn't my hair look good? Isn't that a lovely pose? I want them to go, oh my goodness, look at the way they're doing this, or I remember feeling so happy at that moment. So that's what I want to capture. I'm capturing emotions.
You do it. You really do it. And like I said, it's once you get past the looking at yourself, it's what you do capture, and it is that emotion that you do capture in that. And even with a business that you think, oh, what's an emotion behind a business?
Yeah.
But it's what that person is bringing to that business, isn't it?
Yes, it is, very much so.
So you do capture that.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Well
Thank you.
done. And when did you sort of you've been in Australia for 7 years
Yes.
now, with a fabulous, beautiful little family, young family. When did you decide that you were going to do the photography?
Well, I've always, I studied film, as in old-fashioned film, developing film photography at school, and took that to a certain level. And then I got sidetracked by textile design and interior design, but I always kept photography as a hobby. I had my own darkroom at home, and then
That would have been so much fun.
do you know, it was amazing. My dad built it in the bathroom. I had a little red flashing light outside so no one could use the bathroom. It was incredible. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then when we came, and then I obviously left all that stuff in the UK. And then when we came to Australia, the digital revolution had happened. So I'm actually self-taught with my digital photography. And the business happened really organically, which I think is the best way for a business to happen. I've always taken photos. So before I came to Australia, I was in partnership and had an interior design business. So I've always been creative and had photography as my hobby. Then when I came here, it coincided with us starting our family. So I was a stay-at-home mum through choice, and but always taking photos. And then friends just started saying to me, particularly expat friends who are leaving to go back to the UK or back to different parts of Australia, would say to me, can you take photos of our life here so that we've got a memory? And then people started paying me, and then, you know, a very small amount, so it was like a paid hobby. And I was like, oh, actually, I knew that I wanted to have a business after my girls had gone back to school, and interior design wasn't going to happen for me here because it's such a different, the houses are different, the lifestyle's different, you know, everything. I'd have to retrain, and I just didn't have the headspace for it. So I turned my photography into a business. And then when my youngest went to school, full-time school 2 years ago, that's when I said, right, now I can do this. I can actually approach it with a business mind as opposed to a paid hobby. And that's the biggest transition was 18 months ago. And that's when I got my branding and my logo and my website and all that kind of started falling into place.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's the story.
So, being an expat myself, when you do capture those sort of times when you are leaving or even while you're there, it's because of the experiences. So again, it's coming into that emotive part, like you said.
Yes, it very much
of
so.
capturing something that they want to take away with them as well. So 18 months is sort of when you really sort of started.
Yes, that's when I switched my mindset from paid hobby to business. That's when I started doing my networking. So before I wasn't doing any networking. It's just if people asked me to take photos, I would. So I started actually putting myself out there in networks, WNA, which where we met, and some other local networks as well. But WNA has been my biggest connector.
Fabulous. Yep. All right. And what? So you've 18 months. I think you've come a long way. Like everyone that when we've been out, people approach you and they're hugging you. They're saying, "I really want you to do this for me." Like they're literally throwing themselves at you to say, "Please come and take my photos." It's fantastic. So, do you have any sort of key strategies that you sort of use with your networking and your marketing?
Well, I don't think I actually have anything.
Maybe it's just you.
I think it is. I think
it's just you.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I've been on a bit of a personal journey, as in, and it's really hard. I think I kind of just try to embrace me, and I'm my niche, which I think is your biggest selling point. So I've invested in WNA heavily, and I do all their photography for them, or most of their photography for their events. And
WNNA is Women's Network Australia.
Yes. And the calibre of women that network there is really high, so that's taken me to the next level with my business. And I think I've done lots of shoots for them for free to get myself out there, and then just by default people then start coming to me for paid services. So that's been a really good investment of my time.
And it hasn't been a waste of your time.
Oh gosh, no, not at all. And it's about, I think, not spreading myself too thin. It's about choosing where I'm going to network and focusing all my energies and all my energies in there, rather than trying to do. I did do like 3 or 4 different networks, and it's just, I can't do it. You can't invest. And because I'm looking for emotional connection, you actually have to get to know people. So yes, when I meet people, I do want to go, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Because if I haven't got that connection, I can't get an emotive photo. You know, that's just how I can't help myself.
They feel comfortable with you. They open up. They relax around you. Sort of thing. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's just I've always been.
I think that's really important what you've just said there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time to recognise that, and not
spreading yourself too thin.
Yes, which is quite hard, you know, because I'm a shiny objects person. I kind of get very distracted, and I think also in this day and age of everyone's throwing free marketing and free this at you and free workshops and free that. You think, "Oh, it's free, I'll do it." And actually, no, it's better to invest. For me personally, it's better to invest my time in just 1 or 2 targeted areas and get to know those people really, really well. Because what happens, and it's a much slower burn than doing funnels or Facebook ads, is I will do a shoot for that person and then they will recommend me to somebody else, and then I'm not having to fight against all the other people that are unknown up there. I've got a personal recommendation. So it's a slower burn, but it just means that my connections are really strong. And then they grow, and then they recommend me, and it's just like this spider web of growing, and it takes time, but I'm happy to invest the time and not be and not kind of just throw my money at Facebook ads and just hope for the best, because it just doesn't work for my type of photography.
That's right. That's right. And I like the word push that you said, because pushing up against something is so hard. You and you're spending so much energy just trying to push your way into something, whereas you're actually getting pulled along.
Yes,
and being pulled along is so much better, because you're on that wave. You're actually, and like you said, that slow burn, it's sort of building up those relationships now. Is that what you mean? Like,
yes, absolutely. So I'm investing my time, because I'm genuinely interested in the people as well. Most of them become friends. So like when we went to the trade show together, I love that. I love that I can go, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And it's taken 18 months to get to that stage, but I genuinely and it kind of just builds stories.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh, I remember when we saw you at the trade show and when we saw you here and that executive lunch, and it just builds a history together, which I love myself. Yeah.
I think it's fabulous, and it was fun going with you too.
It was fun.
And you introduced me to lots of different people as well that normally I would have probably not been able to have met and had great conversations. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Okay, so we've jumped ahead a few of my questions, which is really good. This is something I was listening to on the radio or on a YouTube or something. And the woman said that she wrote a book. And the book was, her face was on the book. And she said, I really have to show up and make this because it's me, it's my face that's on this. It's not just a label, it's not just a pretty picture. My face is on the book, my name's on the book. Do you think that that's really important or powerful in your business, that it's you, that you're taking?
I think in photography as a kind of a sector, some people choose to have their name and some people choose to have a generic name that's not related to them. For me, my name works because I think I invest so much personally into my shoot. So really, if I had someone else working for me, they would take a very different photo because it's not a studio set style, set routine. It's very much on the fly, organic, and looking at a situation through my eyes. It's only me. So I think for me, using my name works, and being out there and connecting with people and actually connecting with me rather than someone who represents me works for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think too. I think it really works well in your business, the photography. I ring up, I talk to Debi.
Yeah.
Debi Brett Photography. You know, I get to talk to you. You're the name, you're the person, you know everything that's going on in that.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I do too. And I guess, well, I was going to say, how do you stay unique to keep your customers coming back? Do you have a lot of that repeat business with that, or like you've just mentioned that they recommend you on, but do those people come back?
It's interesting. Yes, they do. And the first time I experienced it was at Christmas time. So at Christmas, I kind of go against my normal style of photography, and I set my studio up for Christmas portraits. Still emotive photography, but much more kind of posed. And this year, I'd say 80% of my photos were repeat business, and they actually called me and said, "Are you doing it again?" Which was incredibly flattering and took me by surprise. And I thought, oh, it's working. I've obviously done something right. I've obviously, I think for whatever reason, I'm good at connecting with children. Children like me. Other people's children like me. So
Your girls are gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
They are gorgeous.
Thank you. And I think I invest time in other people's children as well. And I think if you get the children on board, then you have a more successful shoot. So just to go off subject slightly, when I do my family shoots, I send them through a family questionnaire, and I make it a point of they have to sit down, no matter how young the children are, they have to sit down and they have to fill out this questionnaire. There's a sort saying, what's your name, what's your age, what's your favourite thing to do with mum, dad, favourite toy, and it gets the children on board and it gets them excited. So 9 times out of 10, when I go to the shoot, the children rush to the door and they are so excited about the photographers coming because they're invested. So I think I get repeat business because if you can get the children to smile and be invested in the shoot, you're halfway there.
And then the photos turn out because little Johnny's not,
Yeah, exactly.
and all looking around or doing something else. The kids are focused on what's going on.
Exactly. Or even if they do have a tantrum, they know that I'm happy to. When I do my Christmas shoots, I actually learn an hour. A lot of people do a 15-minute turnaround, and I do an hour. So I could do 15 minutes and make a lot more money. But for me, 15 minutes is the child's just finding their feet. They come to a new house or a house they don't remember from last year. So an hour it might be 55 minutes of chatting, not even taking a photo, getting them comfortable. And then once they're comfortable, done.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do that. So I think
you are clicking away quite a bit too.
Yeah.
When you don't realise that
No.
you're clicking away, and do you find that that's when you grab?
Yeah, I do. And sometimes I even just we'll be talking and I'll just click like this, and it is some of them don't come out in focus, some of them do, but if you get one that it's just like beautiful interaction, and you can always tell when someone's smiling genuinely as opposed to putting the fake Kodak smile on.
Yeah.
And that's what I aim for. I aim for the genuine interactions.
I know personally that when we first started, that few photos, they aren't good because you are nervous.
Absolutely.
To sit in front of the camera and smile and pose.
And no one likes it. And also we're still getting our interaction. So I always say, and I say this to people, I get 80% of my shots in the last 20% of the shoot. So we'll do a family shoot. So the first thing I always do is like a family shoot, and it's more, kind of awkward looking, but I've got it in case it all goes to pot. I've got something there. And then I do a family shoot at the end, and the family shoot at the end is always the one. I mean, like, not a shoot, it's a family kind of photo, and the one at the end is the one they always go for because they're relaxed. The kids don't even have to be looking at the camera, but they're smiling, they're relaxed, and you can see
the dynamics of it.
Huge difference. So I don't panic. I don't panic if for the first 80% of the shoot it's all falling apart, because I just know that's part of the process. I trust the process, and I always get it.
Yeah, you do. I can vouch for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. So on a more personal level, what's sort of like, what's your motto in life? What keeps you going? What's the motivation behind Debi Brett?
No, we had a little chat about this. There's nothing overly profound or kind of, it's just keep swimming. It's just keep going. I think just every day, no matter how you feel, just keep pushing through, because you never know what's around the corner. And you can be having the worst day ever and you can't stop. You've just got to keep going, and then something amazing will happen. You think, that's what was meant to be happening. And I just think trying to stay positive and push on through. Nothing overly profound, just keep going.
Because I get a few emails or messages from you. My phone clicks off at a certain time. I have that
very good.
nighttime thing. So that's why sometimes I don't reply, because I don't even see that it's come up. But it's like 11 or
I know, I should
at 11:30, and I go, Deb's up. Look at that lady was up. But here I am up at 5 going, I can't answer her. She'll be asleep by now. So it's the different swings. Sometimes I'm up sending emails. Like, I love starting my week at the beginning on Sunday.
Yes.
So I'm, firing out emails, because for me, waking up on Monday morning, like today, everything, the guys are come, everything's happening, and I didn't expect that. So at least I know I've already had a head start yesterday, sort of thing. But
no, I think it's
keep swimming.
It does. It's like a Nemo film. But I think also because I've got young children, and even though I've got help, I don't get a huge amount of solid, uninterrupted time. Even if I'm not looking after them, I can still hear them. So after they've gone to bed, that's when I get the real kind of quiet, absolute quiet, and I can just actually really fly through my emails and my messages. So I do tend to do sort of admin at night time. And also if for daylight, if I'm shooting, I want to shoot in the daylight. So I try not to spend too much time on my admin during the day when I could be using the light to take photos.
There you go. See, and that's all part of your business, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I love it. All right. I've only got a couple more questions. This is so much fun. Balanced life. Okay, so I really love this question. It's all about your future self.
Okay.
And if you can imagine your future self turning around and speaking to you going, Debi, what do you think she would say to you?
Oh, as in say to me now?
Yeah. So if she was looking back at you and turned around and said to you something to you now. Now, this future self, I want you to try and imagine, maybe I should have set that up better. She is the person that you really want to be.
Okay.
So
I think it's interesting. If you'd asked me this question 6 months ago, I think I would give you a different answer. But now I feel I've turned a huge corner and I'm on the right track. So I think the future self would be saying to me, you've got it, you're on the right track, just keep going.
Keep going.
Because I definitely think before 6 months ago, I wasn't quite sure whether I was on the right track. And it was just more, not stabbing in the dark, but I was making decisions, not quite sure on why I was making decisions and what direction I was going in. And the last 6 months, I feel that I found myself and I found my direction, which is wonderful. It feels great. It feels really grounded. So I think the future self would say, just keep those blinkers on. Don't get distracted. Because I've chosen to niche down into the more storytelling approach and in-home storytelling for families as opposed to beaches and gardens. So when someone calls up and says, oh, will you take a photo on the beach? I have to say, no, that's not what I do anymore. And just keep those blinkers on and keep going. And I think I'll get to that future self.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, I feel quite confident.
I think she's lovely.
Oh, thank you.
I want to just really acknowledge you for everything that you've done for me, taking my photos. I love them. I can't wait to start using them. So thank you very much. I think you're a gorgeous lady, and I'm really happy that our paths have crossed.
Oh gosh, absolutely. So am I.
It's a bit of fun, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, no, you're definitely kindred spirits.
Absolutely. So thank you very much.
You are welcome.
And that's our questions finished.
Cool, let's come on.
Always in with a cuddle.
Gosh.